Whoa, I can't believe it. A lot of people have been dying for me to do this new TMNT Mutant Mayhem non-spoiler free review. Because I noticed this movie came out like that it's been last month since this movie got released on July 31st. It's about time I've noticed that what this new movie would be. So the new TMNT Mutant Mayhem from the first time is very, very interesting because I have noticed that this movie was a game changer in my opinion because I've learned that Point Grade Pictures had announced their collaboration with Nickelodeon in 3 years ago with Seth Rogen and, most notably, Evan Goldberg and Jeff Rowe producing under that said banner. Even though Kyler Spears would be involved in it because it was provided at Micros Animation in Montreal, Paris, and site in Vancouver, and it was inspired by the many school notebook sketches exploring how the teenage aspect of the Turtles, as they wanted to take inspiration from the many teenage coming-of-age films like From Development. They said that Stand By Me, Lady Bird, The Edge of 17, Freaks and Geeks, and Pen 15 have influenced this idea of why they wanted to create this fresh new take on Mutant Mayhem. Although it's the seventh theatrical film of that said series, even though for the first time since 2007, we should dive down dweller into what makes this film so brilliant. Well, resourcefully, the Turtles discovered that they were going to high school in order to ignore their father's warnings not to trust mutants because Splinter the Rat was said to have been responsible for giving birth to those turtles 15 years ago in 2008. And now 15 years later, they are now 15 years old and they are able to go outside to get out of their comfort zones. Now, the next chapter in this movie is that they somehow run into April O'Neil in what this version was somewhat of an agoraphobic news reporter because I began to notice that this is the weird trend that they've been once trying it from the 80s and then they did it again in Rise. That I don't remember what is going on with the whole film. Now, to get out of the way with this whole fat-phobic problem out of the way, we continued the scene where the Turtles are excited to make new friends with the help of that mysterious housefly creature called Superfly, because Superfly somehow leads his team of mutants of his own, like Genghis Frog, Leatherhead, Bebop and Rocksteady, Manta Ray, and most notably Scumbag and Wingnut. Because specifically, I've noticed that this animation, well, before we go into the animation section, to continue this movie, he's planning to pretty much conduct an evil plan to pretty much destroy the entire high school if he's tricking them into making them go on a heist to steal mutant ooze so he can transform everyone to mutants like him. And that's how Baxter Stockman created him from the same cast that he dropped on the Turtles 15 years earlier. As I noticed, that's going to be a weird coincidence that he was meant to be the main villain of Mutant Mayhem, and now at the last moment, they settled on Superfly. Well, I noticed that Ray Fillet is the name of that manta ray that I mentioned earlier than before, because he was that devil ray creature that we noticed, and there's one problem about the whole LGBT relationship, is that Splinter is dating Scumbug, and what we all don't know that even though by Family Guy standards, courtesy of Seth MacFarlane's influence throughout the animation itself, well, if we decided if this movie could have had Casey Jones in it, and spectacularly, I've learned something odd about what went wrong with the climax. The climax is where it was spoiled by the merchandise itself, and we saw one of those mutants, and there was this mega mutant creature that was leaked online for some reason. That this so-called mega mutant creature looks like a weird ass whale with humanoid legs, and it looks very disgusting, and all I'm getting is that Superfly had some sort of awful thing for what I imagined and what I saw in Family Guy. Is that, speaking of Family Guy, there's that one quote we can't get enough of. And this is the part where I can imagine right in front of my eyes, right now. Giggity, 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 let's have sex. Wait a minute. Now, spoiler alert, I've understood that Superfly's master plan was to have sex with the turtles. And all I'm getting at, this is not a good idea to have some sort of no right-minded, pervertly sex-crazed housefly trying to host a sexy party for the turtles. And just went haywire on Times Square. And let's not forget that, to mention that in order to top it all off, we didn't really expect SpongeBob to appear in it. Well, as a coincidence in a cameo appearance that we know of, I noticed what went crazy with this movie is that it was so weird. Now, after Superfly died from a mutant explosion, Cynthia Utrom of the TCRI squadron somehow hires the Shredder to do her bidding to eliminate the turtles for destroying her genetically modified monster creature. And it turns out that could be one problem. Wait a minute. I can't guess it. Who the hell did they brought back Shredder? Wait a minute. They brought back Shredder, and is this very... Wait a minute. I got something better than that. Now, let's find out why there's a post-credit scene involved. And as I know, he was a minor antagonist who only appeared at the end of that movie. Now, here comes the spoiler alert. And... oh my god. It's... oh my god. Dum 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 oh shit, here we go again. I'm gonna run! And now to top it all off, let's talk about the animation. Now that the animation is like a combination of both Family Guy and Wallace and Gromit, with a mixture of Spider-Verse thrown into it, and much like in the vein of Mitchell's vs. the Machines, I've noticed that it took influences from 90s hip-hop and Tony Hawk's Pro Skater for inspiration, because the Turtles want to go punk, and this was a definitive throwback to the 1990 film. Of what we know is there might be a sequel being made, and top it all off that, well, by the standards of some immature, child, or what I can imagine, that 50% of the whole world knows, why, they just want to play it cool. Well, on my honest thoughts, to top this all off, I'm gonna make a big issue about why this movie had a budget of $70 million, and now it's currently grossing up to $10.2 million. For some reason, I'm thinking it bombed because Paramount announced that they'll no longer do any more theatrical releases, and now they're going to stream it on Paramount Plus for all future films. Well, because they're animated, of course, and that is kind of depravish, but I don't mind it. I don't mind Paramount Plus, but honestly, I like the way they changed the settings of what I saw, what they used. Can I Kick It by A Tribe Called Quest, and this movie was a blast. Thanks, Point Craig Pictures. I just thanked you guys for doing so. Now, topping it off, this is by far the best of its bunch. Despite being a flop, I know it's an acclaimed flop, but it gets a masterpiece of a 10 out of 10. It is by far the best TMNT movie to the bunch. And with that out of the way, I might not get time to review Nimona because I've learned that I will review Nimona next week because I'll save it for August 11th, 2023. So, that's all I can say about this one. So, bye-bye.